The MoneroTopia weekly news segment is sponsored by WizardSwap.io, a non-custodial cryptocurrency exchange.
Good. This week was kind of crazy. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. This was some crazy stuff too about Nepal. So I'm glad that somebody mentioned it because I'm going to talk about it. I guess we'll just get into it. So yeah, the first thing I'm going to talk about Nepal, and then a bit of Charlie. We got a couple clips, and then Irina. The situation in Nepal is insane. Basically, what happened is my generation started to post on social media the lifestyle of the politicians and the lifestyle of their kids and all the vacations that they're taking and the Louis Vuittons and Gucci's and all the designer stuff that they're buying for themselves. Meanwhile, the people, they're very poor. It's a pretty poor country. And in response, the politicians wanted to ban every single social media, Instagram, WhatsApp, YouTube, 26 social medias, everything. They wanted to ban absolutely everything. And then there were protests, and they said, okay, no, it's fine. We'll uplift the ban. But the police was violent and all these things. So this was the Nepalese government earlier this week. And this is how it looks today, which is it's just insane. So yeah, in case you can't see it, it's just burned down, and it's a pretty big building, and yeah, the people just burned down the whole governmental building and I think some hotels as well and things like that. So there's this, and then here's a video of protesters in Nepal pretty much beating the former prime minister, and then also there's a video of their finance minister getting beaten on the street as they're trying to flee for their life. So yeah, let's watch this video. I don't think they're beating him right now, but they definitely did beat him before. As you can see, he's pretty bloody, and yeah, they deserve it. When you keep a country poor and then you take it all for yourself, then you deserve this to happen to you. And then I've shared that video with the governmental building being burned down to some of my friends, well, also without context, and then they said some were sad about it. That's thinking, why should you be sad? I'll be pretty happy with any governmental building burning down, but yeah, they definitely deserve it. And then what's crazy is that they all got on Discord, 10,000 plus people, something like that. They all got on Discord, in case you didn't know. All Nepalese people deciding the future of Nepal and who to get in after. And I think they elected a woman as a prime minister or something like that. But they did elect somebody on Discord. So I guess there were a couple people, that were allowed to speak, and then everybody else was just listening and voting. I don't know how the voting went, but that's crazy. And here is the Communist Party headquarters, and a Nepalese protester tearing down the hammer and sickle flag. So there he is, climbing up. Skip a little bit, and he took it down just like that. Yeah. So what a crazy situation. I'm happy for what they did, but then you also got to think that for sure outside countries like big powers, Russia, China, they're looking into this situation. They're thinking about how to exploit it, because usually be it Romania or Hungary, whenever somebody took over after communism or after dictatorship and things like that, or bad situations, somebody came in, and doesn't mean that it's a good thing necessarily. Doesn't mean that, the country is going to be so much better. Happened in India, happened everywhere. People died, protested, and then they kind of put somebody else in power again. Now, I don't know whether that person that they put in power now is good or not, and I hope that their future is going to be better. But yeah, it happened, I think, during the day when Charlie got assassinated. And then what's also very cool is that, and I have a better video on somewhere else, but I can't bring it up here. But they're actually, the protesters, they're now cleaning the country, and there's a ton of people cleaning the.
This is one of the very prominent, famous one, the icons of the old to in fact get into action.
But
And
yeah, people are cleaning up, old, young. They got a broom in their hand, and they're just cleaning up the whole country and reconstructing it.
everything that stood as a symbol of a system which the Gen Z or the young people.
Yeah. So in case you didn't know too much about this and you just heard about the government building burning down, I think that's pretty much the whole situation. So I hope that they're going to be better off from now on. But yeah, that's intense. I did not expect that. Then yeah, just over quick, Irina, in case you didn't hear, and I'm not going to play this video here because I don't know if we're going to get demoted from YouTube or something like that, or this video taken down. But essentially she was killed. She was coming back from work in North or South Carolina, something like that. She escaped the war from Ukraine, came to the US, was working here, and she was in a train, something like that, and she was just killed by some guy behind her, which he should have been in jail forever, or at least killed, because he has done a lot of bad things. Like, he was convicted 14 times. 14 times convicted. That's absolutely crazy that he was still alive and also just out and about and free. And I did see something about his mother saying that, he's schizophrenic and he was being violent with him and his dad, and then they tried to, seek help for him and stuff like that. But it's so unfortunate, and this made my stomach sick for the whole day, just seeing that, and especially seeing the video, and especially seeing that nobody did anything around. But I'm glad that somebody said that they're offering $500,000 in $10,000 grants to paint murals of her face in prominent US city locations to not forget. And if God forbid something like that happens, act on it. Don't just sit and look. That's just horrible. And Elon Musk said he wants to contribute 1 million, and also Andrew Tate, if it's here, he said match 1 million. So yeah, a lot of violence, this one, and it happens every day. I mean, you hear about this one, but there's for sure something happening every single day. There's also school shooting, I think, in Colorado, I think, during the same time. It's just so sickening. But yeah, we got to cover a bit of politics because that's what we are going against, right, with the whole Monero movement. So yeah. Then, okay, there's this one too. The judge who released Irina's killer did not have a law degree. I don't know what to say about this one. I will play a little bit. I saw online, and I think Trump said that he deserves to be just killed. So I guess let's watch a minute of this, and then we're going to Charlie Kirk a bit, and then we'll go into a bunch of Monero stuff. And then also chat control. That's interesting too, because we did talk about chat control in Europe. So I do have some updates on that as well, and some nice graphs. So that's going to be cool.
Here's Mayor Andy Shore. Stop by Wing Heaven Sports Haven for lunch. The opportunity to meet the new owners, Teresa and Iana. Check out the new Sober Wings Bar at Martin Luther King Boulevard for wonderful food and atmosphere. House of Manifestation prevents independence at Wing Haven, MLK Boulevard. Drag show, one free hookah and fireworks included. So this was going on back in Lansing, Michigan. So they're having drag. Look at it. Notice how it's.
I'm going to skip a little bit.
Advocacy for federal second. These reentry initiatives are commonly described as second chance services. And
actually, I forgot where it was exactly, but.
Over the heart of the
okay, I forgot where it is exactly, but anyway, yeah, I don't know what to say about the judge situation. I've read some from other sources that he's not released and that he he might just be killed. I don't know, but anyway, so moving on. We have also on Epstein files. We have 217 of the 218 signatures required. So we just need one more congressman to sign the discharge petition in order to force a vote in the House on a bill to release the Epstein files. And let's see. Actually, let's take a break from this stuff. We'll go back to Charlie Kirk. Let's just talk a bit about Monero, and then we'll go back to Charlie. So Kraken withdrawals suspended in USA. Somebody posted on Reddit. I was fine to withdraw 2 days ago. I'm wondering if Kraken is doing this as a temporary thing because of the recent attack on Monero, or do you guys think it is a permanent thing? I'd legit just move to Kraken because they're one of the exchanges that actually have Monero, and now this happens. And then somebody posted in the comment section that Kraken is likely affected by a bug in the wallet software. The XMR developers are currently investigating the issue and will release a new version once the issue has been resolved. Fiat Demise posted about this situation on X of Monero withdrawals from US Kraken are working again. That was on the 11th of September, a couple of days ago. And today, Kraken US is saying this: deposits and withdrawals may function at times, but are subject to being paused without prior notice. Kraken may halt deposits and withdrawals at any time and delay crediting at its discretion. So again, please, if you're going to use a CEX centralized exchange, put your money in, get the Monero, and just get it out. Don't leave it there. Why would you leave it there? Just get it out. Put it somewhere else. Because who knows when you're going to be able to withdraw it. And if you use somebody else, not Kraken, maybe you won't be able to withdraw it. I don't know. But just be careful. If you're going to use it, put it in, take it out, and that's it. Then this one is super, super big. Jeffro256 recently put forward a proposal to continue to work full-time on XMR development with focus on completing the Carrot and FCMP++ integration into the Monero code base, which is a huge, huge update. Carrot is huge. We talked about it on the show in the past. RB Runner posted about it on Reddit. So you have two or more big posts about Carrot and what it does, and it's really, really big. So I encourage you to go on Reddit. Just go type Reddit Carrot and Monero, and then read about it. It's super cool. It's just so exciting. It's gonna piss a lot of Fed boys and a lot of people that want to crack on it. But big donate 11 Monero. So please donate to Jeffro256 to make Monero stronger. BIP 172 Maximalist wrote in the comments, I donated, but less than that, less than 11 XMR. But yeah, good. Yeah, so go ahead and donate to that, guys. And also, if you guys have any links or anything that you'd like to discuss or we'd like to discuss, you can post it on YouTube because I'm watching the YouTube comments as well. And give a like as well because that helps us. Like, share, subscribe. I just liked it because I didn't. So there we go. Now, ShopInBit stats. Privacy matters. Monero works. Monero leading ShopInBit stats. So let's take a look. ShopInBit stats of August 2025. Monero is at 65.79%. Top 1, Bitcoin. Top 2, 31.37%, followed by USDT at just 1.7%. Fiat, nothing. Lightning is 0.2 something. It's nothing. So yeah, that's awesome statistics. Very cool. More dev stuff. This one is from Luke Parker, Kayaba Nerve. So happy to have worked on this and incredibly excited for it to offer such a bug bounty. This is from Sarai, and it's announcing the Monero Oxide, which is an independent shop in Monero, more like, right? Yeah, it's becoming like it. I gotta check the stats of the other competitors too, coin cards. Actually, let's do that now. Let me see if they posted their stats. Give me 1 second. Coin cards, there we go. September, yeah, we do. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay, let's go to this and then we'll go back to Sarai. So these are the coin card stats. It's not Monero cards yet. Bitcoin is at 35%, followed by XMR second, 27.5%, USDC third, Ethereum 7%. People use Zcash for this too, 0.8%. Even Dogecoin, Lightning 6%, much bigger than 0.2%. But okay, so CoinCards is second. Has it ever been number one on CoinCards? I don't know. I think it's always been second or close second, something like that. I don't know if we got XMR to be top on CoinCards. Maybe we did. I don't remember. But yeah, let's go back. Oh, wait. I just stopped my share screen. Hold on. Sorry. Okay. Hey, Shortwave or Doug, can you please put my screen up again?
Doug, you'll have to do it because I can't. Because I'm just a guest, just like Tony is.
Oh, there we go. Okay, thanks. Cool. Yeah, so Monero Oxide is an independent organization and set of audited Rust libraries for working with and signing Monero transactions, including an implementation of Frostless, our efficient Frost-inspired threshold multi-signature protocol for XMR. So yeah, formerly known as Monero Serai, whose audit by CipherStack was funded by the Monero community, the Monero Oxide organization will help ensure these libraries remain useful for the entire XMR community, and they're currently in use by both Serai and Cooperate, a Rust Monero node. Cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff. Okay, let's talk about chat control. So US citizens have 3 days. That was September 8th. I guess we were supposed to have an answer this Friday, but I've checked online, and then I think we'll have one on October 14th. So this is huge, essentially, and I like this. You won't make me leave this 1984 shit. Let's go on here. Yeah, chat control is, I guess, the proposed solution in Europe so that they can spy on your WhatsApp and all these chats and use it to find criminals, essentially. But it's not the solution, and it's just an excuse to spy on you, and it's going to create also a lot of false positives, and a lot of people will just get their police at the door for nothing because, I don't know, some memes, maybe there's just certain memes or talk about some stuff or joke, and then they get flagged, and then the police get sent. But it's just such a mess. And let's go over, because I do have some illustrations. So yeah, this is the current status of chat control, and so we have 306 parliament members in support, with 339 opposing and 73 undecided, with 1 missing data. So I wonder from the 73 if they're going to be bribed into voting for. And then we go to fightchatcontrol.eu, and this is a very nice website. So let's go at opposing, so we can see exactly who's opposing, which European country is supporting, and which one is undecided. Opposing is Austria, Belgium, Czech Republic, Finland, Germany, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Poland, Slovakia. And supporting Bulgaria, Croatia, Cyprus, Denmark, France, Hungary. I'm not surprised. Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Lithuania, Malta, Portugal, Spain, Sweden. Okay. And then we go to undecided countries on chat control. Estonia, Greece, Romania. Cool. I hope they're going to be opposing. Although, I don't know. I think they may be supporting with some very bad politicians. Except, the president is okay now, but whatever. And then Slovenia. And I assume that we will find out their decision on October 14th while everybody decides. But huge impact. Mass surveillance, breaking encryption, fundamental right. Undermines your fundamental rights to privacy and data protection as guaranteed by Article 7 and 8 of the EU Charter, rights considered core to European democratic values. Ineffective, false positives. So automated scanners routinely misidentify innocent content, such as vacation photos or private jokes. as illegal, putting ordinary people at risk of false accusations and damaging investigations, which that's going to be huge. I mean, we all send, sometimes some kind of jokes and memes that are questionable, but yeah. That ineffective child protection experts and organizations, including the UN, warn that mass surveillance fails to prevent abuse and actually makes children less safe by weakening security for everyone and diverting resources from proven protective measures. Global precedent, creates a dangerous global precedent, enabling authoritarian governments citing EU policy to roll out intrusive surveillance at home, undermining privacy and free expression worldwide. Definitely, for sure. Like, look at the EU. Look at the European Union, they've done it. Okay, so let's see how they're doing it. It seems to be effective. But the best thing that you can do is invest a lot in proper education. That's going to solve a lot of issues, work on your economy, and then there'll be a lot less crimes with proper education, proper help to people that need help, things like that. But the police actually doing their job. That's another huge thing. Not just spying on everybody. It's just such a lazy way of fixing stuff. Now, this is from Fiat Demise. Okay, it's a budget Monero mining rig, which is inexpensive. It's not that expensive. Hash rate of 19,250. Power draw 142 watts. No more excuses. Start mining. And that's how it looks like. So it's pretty cool.
Where was that posted? Is that X or what?
This one is on X.
Okay. I'm gonna have to take a look at that because that sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, he's even posting which one he bought on Newegg too. So he has a 16-core Ryzen 9. Nice. 32 gigs of RAM and 1 terabyte drive. So there we go. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so you can just go on Newegg. Yeah, so it's $607 if you want to look into it. And then he posted the components.
That's not bad. That might have to go on my wish list.
Nice. Right. That's pretty cool. Okay, now let's go back. We're going to go back, guys. A bit of Charlie Kirk. The guys talked about it in the beginning, so I'm not going to add too much. But what I'm going to say is that, it's just unfortunate that in today's world, it's 2025, we have so much access to information. Well, a lot of it is bad, but you do have access to information. If you have any question, you can just go look it up. And then we're still killing each other over politics, religion, and all these things. And hopefully one day it's going to stop. And yeah, we're not going to show, Charlie getting assassinated. Because again, I don't know, with YouTube and stuff. And I want you to also enjoy your weekend. But yeah, so let's watch a few videos on Charlie. So this one is from Spitfire. I've been going back and watching videos of Charlie debating with students. This particular debate left me in awe. What an incredibly knowledgeable man. Take a moment to witness and be inspired. I used to listen to Charlie a little bit, like 2017. And this has nothing to do with him, but I didn't like his views. I didn't listen to him, but obviously he didn't deserve to just get assassinated for his views. But yeah.
So I'm particularly concerned about your brand of Christianity. As a Christian myself, Christian nationalism, I do not agree with at all. I think it's antithetical to the values of the early church. And I think, how do you reconcile especially white Christians in this America, marrying politics and power with their faith in this country?
There's a lot there. I've never described myself as a Christian nationalist. So I'm a Christian and a nationalist. So I've never used those two.
And then right there, that and nationalist, where in the scriptures does a Christian...
Well, thank you. Jeremiah 29:7, demand the welfare of the nation that you are in, because your welfare is tied to your nation's welfare. Let me continue. Daniel fasted and prayed for his nation. Esther and Mordecai cared for their nation. They were counsel to the king. Right. Nehemiah, Jeremiah, Joseph, Jacob. I could keep on going. Moses, Aaron. In fact, Moses was so political that he wrote an entire book of the Torah all about how to set up a government. It's the book of Deuteronomy. So, in fact, the Bible is an explicitly political text amongst many other things.
Now, can we interpret those texts in the light of the revelation of Christ? Because you just cited all Old Testament texts. We have not once cited St. Paul.
Okay, yeah. If you want me to also, by the way, just so we are
St. Paul about the kingdom of heaven and the governance.
just so we're clear, do you think that the New Testament is greater than the Old Testament?
It is. It is
Oh,
greater
whoa,
because
whoa,
the
whoa,
revelation
whoa.
of Christ dictates how we interpret
that-
the Old Testament.
So you think that all of a sudden, like Genesis 1 is not as great just because of the New Testament?
The Old Testament was a type and shadow of the things to come, and now we live in the full revelation of Christ.
Again, that
So it is by definition
that is such
lesser.
a dangerous theological.
That's not true. That's Christological theology.
Hold on. Of course, I believe in the resurrection, but to all of a sudden say that, like, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth is like somehow in like lesser because of the revelation of the New Testament. Christ even said, "I did not come to abolish the law of the prophets; I came to fulfill the law." In fact, he said all the laws of the prophet hang on the two teachings, Leviticus 19 and Deuteronomy 3-5. However, to use a New Testament example, as you asked, says in 1 Timothy, pray for your leaders in authority by name that they might make righteous and great decisions. I'm going to continue. Christ our Lord said, on this rock build my what?
Church.
Wrong. Ecclesia. It's not the word church.
Okay,
the word
English
church,
translations of Common Bible say church, so my bad.
well, actually, it shouldn't, because the original Greek term says, on this rock build my government structure. Ecclesia was a secular word used in that time, which was all about the advancement of freedom and liberty, which are the two words in Greek, eleutheria and isonomia, which are the two words there. So the point being, Christ called us to be salt and light. We as Christians should change the environment that we come in contact with. That's what salt and light do. So why should we then not care about changing government to be more Christ-like?
Okay. And then...
Say what you want about the guy, but very talented, right?
Yep, he knew a lot of stuff. And then what I want to say on that is, like, no matter what your beliefs are, always have an open mind. And we're battling, like with these kind of situations in crypto as well, like Bitcoin versus, let's say, Monero. And then usually Bitcoin Max is not listening to what we have to say. So always have an open mind, no matter what is being, discussed. And if you have attachment to your beliefs, then really look into why you are attached and why you can listen to the other person. That's a huge problem that we all have in the world. This one is from Erica Kirk. If you thought my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. The movement my husband built will not die.
Husband's assassination have no idea what they have done. They killed Charlie because he preached a message of patriotism, faith, and of God's merciful love. They should all know this. If you thought that my husband's mission was powerful before, you have no idea. You have no idea what you just have unleashed across this entire country and this world. You have no idea. You have no idea the fire that you have ignited within this wife. The cries of this widow will echo around the world like a battle cry. To everyone listening tonight across America, the movement my husband built will not die. It won't. I refuse to let that happen. It will not die. All of us will refuse to let that happen. No one will ever forget my husband's name, and I will make sure of it. It will become stronger, bolder, louder, and greater than ever. My husband's mission will not end, not even for a moment. And one of Charlie's greatest talents was his ability, this phenomenal ability to choose great people to follow him.
Okay.
Powerful, though, right? I mean, that's going to be a video that is going to have a significant effect on the trajectory of this country. We are at a turning point. Seriously, I mean, things have really ramped up. I think that video actually was a battle cry. So this is gonna be interesting, guys. Things are gonna continue to ramp up here in the U.S.
I mean, his organization was called Turning Point, so.
I know.
Okay, I have 2 more videos on Charlie. This one is from the White House, in loving memory of Charlie Kirk, a fearless patriot and a man of unwavering faith who dedicated his life to America.
Only in America is it possible to say, you know what, I don't like the way the country is going, and to do something about it. Take that risk, take that leap of faith, stay involved, trust God, and act obediently. Romans 12:2 verse, that God will use all things for good for those who love him. It's bigger than you. I want you to remember that. It is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. You are here to make somebody else's life better, the pursuit of liberty and freedom. You know what gives me strength? The hundreds of thousands of you that say, Charlie, keep going. 1 Corinthians 5 and 15. So that's all pretty amazing evidence, not just intra-biblical evidence, but extra-biblical evidence that Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the 3rd day, and he is Lord and God of all.
Okay.
He's becoming a deity, man. Yep, this was definitely a significant moment in America's history. Whatever you may think of it, it is absolutely significant. Edward McLean, I certainly disagree a whole lot with much of Charlie's politics and largely dismissed him because of it. This week I learned it was foolish of me to dismiss him completely. Absolutely, it's a good lesson to take away from this. Don't just assume you know somebody's take by hearing some of the clips, because often it's from those that are just trying to take somebody down, right? Yeah, once again, I have a lot to learn about. I don't know all his takes, but yeah, he's definitely talented, and like I said, he seems to be very principled and consistent in his views, and supportive of obviously a lot of positive values, right, given his Christian faith. So interesting character, interesting times we're living in, guys. I don't know what else to say about this, right? Like I think we said enough on the Charlie Kirk thing. Back to work with Monero.
Okay, do you want me to play this too, or do you want me to move on?
What was this one?
This one, it's on Epstein and.
Oh yeah, you could play this. I mean, this is kind of the broader conspiracy theory that's brewing out there, that he was starting to notice, and he was taken out by those that perhaps were connected to people like Epstein, right?
Okay. You want me to play the whole video?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Realize that Epstein, with his little friend Ghislaine and Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who is obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, that there was something else going on here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. The sweatpants and the Harvard jacket, the kind of disheveled hair, looking as if he was so smart and above the clouds that he was doing advanced mathematic equations on the back of napkins. But if you actually go into some of the videos of people that met with Epstein at the time, they said he was awfully unimpressive when it came to finance and markets and economics. And it's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy, not hard. And this is no longer just speculation. First of all, the evidence that shows that Epstein was a creation of either Mossad, Israeli intelligence, American intelligence, Saudi intelligence, or maybe he was just a hired gun. Maybe he was just the guy that countries would go to and park a couple $100 million and say, hey, can you get one of the members of the royal family with a 13-year-old so we can get them to do what we want to do? Members of Congress are actively being blackmailed. The Epstein playbook is being used on a daily basis. Jeffrey Epstein was not a financier. He was not a hedge fund manager. Jeffrey Epstein was a key player in a multi-decade blackmail operation against the most powerful people on the planet.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's, conspiracy being that he started to noticed, and he was noticing too much, right? And he has a huge audience, and starting to turn people away from Trump, perhaps at that point as well, right? Trump is out here trying to keep the Epstein files hidden. Charlie Kirk was beginning to, make allegations that Epstein was connected to Mossad, right? And I think this was quite recent that he was starting to talk in these ways.
Okay. And let's see. Oh, I have two things actually. Yeah. So let's talk about, let's play this, and then we have the region, and that's it. So do you want me to play the video, or do you want me to just basically read the summary of it?
I guess you could play the video.
Yeah.
I think he covers it all there.
Okay.
Leading up to 2013, the Institute of Medicine was commissioned by the United States Department of Health and Human Services to review the entire body of existing scientific literature to assess the safety of the CDC's childhood schedule as a whole. HHS paid the IOM to do that. After the IOM engaged in that task with a panel of multidisciplinary scientists, it concluded, quote, "The studies designed to examine the long-term effects of the cumulative number of vaccines or other aspects of the immunization schedule have not been conducted, end quote. That's the Institute of Medicine's finding after reviewing the entire body of scientific literature. Meaning the IOM could not find studies comparing, as you would do to study the safety of a product, an exposed group, meaning kids that got vaccines, the childhood schedule, with unvaccinated children, kids who got no vaccine, which is what you would need to assess the safety of the schedule. Lacking evidence to support safety, the best the IOM can conclude was, quote, "There is no evidence that the schedule is not safe," end quote. This, of course, also means the IOM cannot find evidence to conclude that the schedule is safe. The IOM report did say it is, quote, "possible to make the comparison," meaning through vaccinated and unvaccinated children, "through analyses of patient information contained in large databases such as the Vaccine Safety Data Link," end quote, which used to be housed at the CDC. But to date, the government has still not conducted this comparison. By the way, the CDC published a white paper in 2015 on how to do that study. Has it been done? I don't know. Has it been published? No. In 2017, one of our clients, Senator Johnson said earlier, the Informed Consent Action Network, wanted to see this exact study of comparing vaccinated versus unvaccinated children. As the trailer you just watched noted, Del Bigtree, ICANN's CEO, had met Dr. Marcus Service at one point, who was the head of infectious disease at Henry Ford Medical Center. And he agreed to meet and to potentially do the study. He conducts clinical trials for vaccines, including for the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. He's avowedly pro-vaccine. And when we met him, we argued that this was an opportunity to shut the anti-vaxxers up about their claim that unvaccinated children are healthier. To our surprise, Dr. Zerva said he would conduct the study. He recruited a chief epidemiologist and 2 statisticians with the Henry Ford to do so. These were mainstream scientists who no doubt held orthodox views regarding vaccines. In early 2020, I received a copy of the study. It showed the results of the analysis comparing children enrolled in Henry Ford from 2000 to 2016 from birth onward who had no vaccines compared to those who had 1 or more vaccines. The study was based on actual medical records, meaning finally a large vaccinated versus unvaccinated study using health data from a major United States health institution, something, as the IOM pointed out, never existed before. The study began by explaining it set out to reduce vaccine hesitancy by assuring parents the CDC vaccine schedule is safe. Instead, what these researchers found was that vaccinated children had 4.29 times the rate of asthma, 3.03 times the rate of atopic disease, 5.96 times the rate of autoimmune disease, and 5.53 times the rate of neurodevelopmental disorders, which included 3.28 times the rate of developmental delay and 4.47 times the rate of speech disorder. All of these findings were statistically significant. There was also other conditions for which there were numerous.
All right, you could kill there. You killed there.
Okay.
Jesus, long video. But listen, this is significant, right? So this took place on the floor. This is like a Senate hearing, or I don't even know where.
In front of Senate, yeah.
Yeah. So RFK Jr., in my opinion, doing a good job in that respect. We're starting to see these conversations take place. So this study that was buried, that was actually done by like pro-vaxxers at the time, doctors and researchers, where it's like, whoops, we did the study and it doesn't look too good, guys, when we compared the unvaccinated to the vaccinated children. Maybe things will start to change. They'll start to relook at these vaccines. Maybe we'll see some change in legislation. I mean, right now, talk about corruption, right? These pharmaceutical companies are immune from liability from vaccine injuries, which is just wild. Every vaccine comes with a list of known vaccine injuries that do in fact happen. I'm hearing now that they're going to pass legislation where they'd be required to show all those vaccine injuries, I think, during pharmaceutical commercials. And more so, obviously the pharmaceutical companies aren't going to want to do that, but like the real effect that might have is making them cost prohibitive, because it's also going to lengthen the time that it's going to take to run a commercial. So maybe we'll see less pharmaceutical ads. So, I mean, here's me advocating for state intervention to solve a problem. But I do think these pharmaceutical companies are out of control, and it's promising to see these discussions taking place on the floor of Congress. So I'm personally a fan of what we're seeing there. More noticing.
Yep, I agree with what he said.
Yeah, I don't know how accurate that study is, right? People are still like, oh, this is a bullshit study. I mean, they literally were doing the study with the incentive to show the opposite, and it came out, then the study was buried.
Bullshit or not, I'm thinking that since the government is against you and doesn't, really want you to be truly educated, truly prosper, and all these things, how can I really trust them with my own health? And that they want my health to be good.
We saw with COVID with our own two eyes, right? We experienced the scam of vaccines with COVID to a very large degree, right? Does it apply to all vaccines? I don't know. You could go down that rabbit hole, but with COVID, come on.
Because nothing's ever been buried because it was inconvenient. No, of course not.
With COVID, you got the vaccine and you still got the virus, and then you still had to take the vaccine 5 more times. Like, come on. I think people woke up to that.
I want to see a post from the White House like, hey guys, here's a gym routine that you can do, or you do like running, we can help you with that. That'll be something that I want to see. And that's when they would actually care. And here's what you should eat. And,
I think we'll start to see RFK Jr. videos, exercise videos. He already posts them, but maybe like you're saying, maybe give me an exercise routine. That'd be hilarious.
I want to see him do some pull-ups again, some muscle up, something. I mean, he was doing them before, but I haven't seen any now. I'm sure he's still, exercising, but I want them to be.
I mean, he's tan as hell. You can tell the guy's outside getting sunshine, like in the ocean every day. He's like, he's definitely trying to live what I would consider the healthy life.
Yeah, I'm sure he's still, doing push-ups and pull-ups. I just want him to be, more pushing on it. But yeah, so last thing for this week, this one is on the Patriot Act that you guys brought up in the beginning, and how they're trying to bring out the Patriot Act to digital assets. So I'm going to read probably the first half more verbatim, just because I like it, and then you guys can read the rest of it. But yeah, it's crazy. So let's go into it. So this article was updated on September 12, 2025 at 3 p.m. ET to reflect that the Special Measures to Fight Modern Threats Act no longer contains Actually, let's skip it a little bit, actually. There we go. So this week seems to be the week of revisiting useless legislation that turned fatal for the constitutional rights of U.S. Americans while proving lethal for many non-U.S. citizens. While we are happy to report that the Treasury is working on reforming the Bank Secrecy Act yesterday, signed into law by President Richard Nixon in 1970, this 9/11 anniversary, we have to report that the Treasury is working on applying the Patriot Act to digital assets. Signed into law after September 11, 2001 by George W. Bush, the guy who sometimes forgets the difference between Iraq and Ukraine. And this is a reference when he was talking about the bombings and the war, and then he said something along the lines that, the horrible things that are happening in Iraq. I mean Ukraine. And he had a little slip right there. You guys can watch the video. But yeah, so he accidentally told U.S. Americans that his government was always looking for new ways to harm the country and illegally invaded not one but two foreign nations. Oops. The Patriot Act effectively grants the U.S. government special powers to bypass constitutional protection in the face of terrorism, including warrantless surveillance and the suspension of due process rights that have led to the unjust imprisonment and relentless torture of hundreds of people around the world. And that's what they want to bring to digital assets. Since 2001, the Patriot Act has significantly shaped the financial world, mandating more KYC, tightening AML, and increasing the sharing of sensitive information between both private and public entities. FinCEN Director Andrea Gacki confirmed that the Treasury is working on finalizing the so-called Mixer rule, which uses the Patriot Act to prohibit private transactions in cryptocurrency. At the same time, Representative Nunn of Iowa let slip that the House appears to continue to work on the special measures to fight the Modern Threats Act, a Patriot Act digital asset legislation that's long been thought dead, which would solidify the Treasury's use of Section 311 to prohibit specific transactions. And let's go over this one and this one as well. So FinCEN is finalizing Patriot Act Mixer rule. In July, the White House asked the Treasury to finalize the so-called Mixer rule, a Biden-era regulation that would outlaw almost every mechanism for privacy on public blockchains for U.S. Americans. In this week's FinCEN oversight hearing, Director Gacki confirmed that the Treasury is currently working on finalizing the rule. We're seeing more and more illegal transactions being done in crypto. This is my favorite part. Representative Liccardo claimed in the hearing, citing a study which found that out of 111 examined fraud cases, 91 allegedly involved so-called decentralized finance. So it's just a bunch of criminals using cryptocurrency, essentially. What the point is, or that a lot of fraudulent money is being moved around in DeFi. The concern here, according to Liccardo, arises from the pseudonymity of transactions. How exactly are you going to do your job when transactions move through DeFi? How are you going to do your job if people have privacy? While Gacki stated that the FinCEN was working with blockchain analysis companies to de-anonymize pseudonymous transactions, Liccardo countered that software like mixers would allow users to evade even sophisticated detection techniques. Oh no. They're not going to sleep at night once Monero is going to have the hard fork, FCMP++, carrot, all those stuff. Who knows? Maybe we're going to see some people get fired because
they probably already don't sleep well at night.
They probably, yeah. But to alleviate Liccardo's concerns, Gacki pointed Liccardo to the Biden-era Mixer rule, stating that FinCEN and the Treasury are exploring the next steps on that. Since the Mixer rule has already passed a notice of proposed rulemaking and public comment periods, his next step would be the finalization of the rule. Then I'll skip around. I'll read a bit of just this part, and then you guys can read the rest of it. It's a good article.
But if you just scan down to the Mixer rule is not a Mixer rule, go down a little further. Yeah, I'll read off that list, right? So
yeah,
this is basically everything that they would effectively be banning overnight, and it sounds like it's like something they can just like very swiftly do and implement because it's just a rule. Like they don't need to pass any new legislation. They're using the Patriot Act, and then they'll just promulgate this rule through the Treasury and then start enforcing it. But yeah, if you want to read a breakdown of what it is.
Yes. Let me just read this part too, and then I'll read that. So yeah, the mixer rule is not so much a mixer rule, it's rather than a blanket ban on any software and even behavior that would grant users of public blockchains transactional privacy. And this would include pooling or aggregating cryptocurrency from multiple persons, wallets, addresses, or accounts using programmatic or algorithmic code to coordinate, manage, or manipulate the structure of a transaction, splitting cryptocurrency for transmittal and transmitting the cryptocurrency for a series of independent transactions, creating and using single-use wallets, addresses or accounts, and sending cryptocurrency through such wallets, addresses, or accounts through a series of independent transactions, exchanging between types of cryptocurrencies or other digital wallet assets, facilitating user-initiated delays in transactional activity.
I mean, this would effectively ban all of the Bitcoin privacy tools that exist.
Everything.
And then, yeah, what it would mean for like Monero and like Zcash and stuff, it's not too clear.
It's not that it would. It's not that it would effectively ban all the Bitcoin mixer privacy tools. It's that it would ban all the Bitcoin privacy tools.
No. Exactly.
Pretty
so
soon.
yeah, I obviously we gotta learn more about this. I want to try to get Lola Leitz on a show or something. She's hard to get. She participated in MoneroTopia last year, but it'd be great to do a show with her now and get the full take on what's going on with this. Understand how real this is and what the implications will be. You know, it's like, does it mean that, you know, no exchange can list Monero overnight in the US?
Oof.
I don't know.
Yeah, if this passes and you guys see us in ski masks and voice modulators, just know that it passed.
The show will go on. We'll just we'll go in on.